only the first. Moments later, the galaxy's first view of the humans arrived in full force. A fleet of such scale and precision that it rewrote everything the galaxy knew about power. Each ship in the fleet was not a relic of the past, as the Zorkel had imagined, but a weapon of terrifying might. The arrogance that had once filled the hearts of the council members melted away as they realized the truth. Humanity had not only survived the ravages of time, they had come back stronger, more deadly, and more determined than any of them could have imagined. As the human fleet crossed into Zorkel space, their ships cut through the void with the calm, deliberate precision of a species that had seen countless battles, countless wars, and had learned every lesson they needed to. This was no accident. This was not some fluke. The humans, the very beings that had been relegated to myth, were rewriting the history of the galaxy. Their confidence, their might, their sheer presence was enough to silence the arrogance of the galaxy's most powerful races. And it wasn't just the ships. The human leaders, clad in simple but elegant uniforms, stepped forward with a sense of quiet authority that shook the foundations of the council. There was no fear in their eyes, no hesitation in their voices. The humans knew exactly what they had come for. "We've come to take what's ours," one human captain said, the voice crackling through the galaxy's communication channels. The simplicity of the words, the utter confidence in their delivery, sent chills down the spines of every alien in the council chamber. The words echoed through the galaxy, and soon, even the farthest reaches of the cosmos felt their weight. The council, those who had once mocked the very idea of humans, were now reeling from the full weight of their presence. The fleet did not ask for permission. It did not beg for recognition. It simply existed. The galaxy watched in stunned awe as the human forces moved through the void, not as conquerors, but as if they had always been there, a force of nature that could not be ignored. The council's once casual arrogance turned to fear as the true scale of humanity's power became undeniable. The Zorkel, for the first time in millennia, realized that they were not the apex of existence. There was something more, something far older, and far more terrifying. The humans had returned, and they had rewritten the rules of the galaxy in an instant. The fleet, vast and implacable, moved onward, each ship a testament to the might of a species that had once been forgotten, mocked, and dismissed. And as the final remnants of the council's laughter faded away, the universe held its breath. The myth had not only been real, it was now the future. The galaxy whispered of humans not as a distant memory, but as the unstoppable force that would shape everything to come. The council of the Zorkel, now humbled, would never forget the day the myths came alive. Under the vaulted dome of the Galactic Council, where empires stretched their banners in arrogance and senators sharpened their tongues sharper than blades, the word human was nothing more than an old jest, a whispered folktale cited in taverns and mocked in academies, a relic of a story no one alive truly believed, and yet it lingered like smoke on forgotten parchment. Legends of a species that once defied extinction, that vanished into the night of unrecorded space, leaving only fractured myths of iron ships and unbroken wills. But here, among the gathered dominions, such talk was laughed away as the ramblings of primitive scribes. The counselors scoffed, their scales glittering under the chamber lights, their beaks, mandibles, or metallic masks clicking in unison as they dismissed yet another ambassador who had dared invoke humans as a possible explanation for the strange anomalies at the edge of charted space. And still, though their arrogance wrapped them like armor, a flicker of unease crept through the chamber when a sensor relay reported a ghost signal reverberating along the void currents, low, deep, and ancient in its code signature. So old that their most sophisticated archives strained to decipher it, producing a word that should not have been possible: Terran. And yet the admirals laughed, their war banners rising in defiance, claiming the signal was nothing but an echo, a shadow, a trick of cosmic noise that weaker species clung to in order to justify their trembling at the dark. So they sent a patrol fleet of 30 ships, bristling with weapons, confident that they would shred the illusion and return with trophies. But as the vessels crept toward the unmarked region, their arrogance fractured under the growing pulse of the signal, a heartbeat in the void so steady, so deliberate, that even the coldest captains felt their carapaces shiver. And when the fog of a dead nebula parted, when the static resolved into structured code, the patrol froze in collective silence as a ship began to decloak, not a cruiser of known design, not a freighter, not a relic craft rusting in the void, but a battleship black and burnished, colossal in scale, its hull marked with a language they had once relegated to folktales. United Earth Naval Command. And in that instant the laughter of the council chambers died across the galaxy, replaced by silence so total it rang like thunder. For the myths had spoken, the legends had found voice, and every empire that once mocked the name now stared at a vessel that was not supposed to exist, a vessel that radiated power like a star caged in steel. The battleship systems awakened with a sound that reverberated through comm channels, a low mechanical growl that silenced the proud admirals, and then a voice, calm, cold, resolute, emerged, not pleading, not questioning, but announcing itself as though centuries of exile had only sharpened its confidence. This is the Terran battleship Resolute. We do not ask. We do not yield. We return. And the patrol's 30 ships, vessels designed to cow lesser races, suddenly seemed fragile, their shields flickering in comparison to the monstrous readings pouring off the human ship, energy levels that dwarfed their understanding, weapon signatures that suggested technology refined not through conquest, but through survival against extinction itself. Panic whispered in command decks, officers once smug now choking on fear as the humans moved with terrifying precision, their ship sliding forward not as a relic, but as a predator emerging from the dark, its movements controlled, deliberate, inevitable. And when the first pulse of human weaponry tore through space, not to annihilate, but to demonstrate, the aliens understood that they were not watching an old myth. They were witnessing the embodiment of a warning ignored for millennia. For the humans had been driven into legend not because they were weak, but because they had chosen to vanish, to wait, to sharpen their claws in silence until the galaxy forgot them. The fleet shattered, not destroyed by fire, but by the collapse of morale, captains fleeing, soldiers refusing to fight, entire ships breaking formation as the battleship's voice continued, speaking not to one empire, but to all, its broadcast flooding every frequency the council thought secure, declaring in tones that brooked no rebuttal that humanity was neither dead nor forgotten. And as the signal reached the Senate chambers, beings who had mocked the very name felt their blood run cold. Because the humans did not ask